Okay, first I'm going to do an experiment to see how well the colors are going to work together. I'm going to take up one of these. Okay, cut all the caps off. And now I'm going to paint. I wanted to get satin yellow. Then we get this gloss yellow. So this one's my most concerning. I'm going to shoot this board with a little of this. Next one is magenta. Now I'm getting artistic. Exactly what I had in mind. Okay. And now I'm going to see if this adheres. So I'm going to put out a goodly amount of ivory black. I need to do this whole canvas with it. And I'm going to be putting on fairly thickly. To wash this paintbrush. Look how long it has been sitting. I want to avoid using the linseed oil today because I want this to dry as quickly as possible. And black is about the fastest, if not the fastest, drying oil paint. So I'm hoping it will dry pretty quickly, but slowly enough that I can get the design in here. It's a little too thin, but I just want this paint's a little old, so I'm trying to work its consistency up. And I will be definitely in a product. I mean, like, everything's so chunky. So yeah. It tells me my product's chunky and I should probably invest, well, I'm definitely going to have to invest in a large tube of paint. But if this stuff sticks here, I think we're golden for getting a large tube of paint. Alright. This is a test. This is only a test. So, I've gotten it blackened up here. So what I'm going to do, well, let me get the rest of this paint on here. Just get everything I have on here. And then I'm going to start to do the wipeout technique. I think I actually have enough to get all the way down here. Paint it to match the table. It's a really glossy section right here, so let's see if that sticks after this dries. And I'm not going to do edges right now. Just going to leave them kind of colorful. to just smooth this out. I don't know if that's 100% possible. It might just be some streakiness in it. It might just end up being the character of it, because this paint is really pretty dry and old. Alright, see if putting out any more paint helps. I don't go too hog wild, but just put out that little piece. Take a dab again with this paint thinner. Over it. It's odorless, but I don't want to breathe it unnecessarily. Just trying to get black all over. Okay, that's probably good enough for this test piece. So I'm hoping with a large fresh tube of black paint for the bear, the paint will just go on a lot more smoothly than that, because it won't have chunks in it. I've got to go deal with this brush and come back and do the wipe out with this tool, which now I also. So this is actually a ceramics tool, but I'm going to use this little pointy end just to kind of draw on this piece. I'm going to do like little curly cues and filigree kind of nonsense. Oh wow, so okay, already this is really cool. I love the colors that are coming through it, so I'm very pleased with that. Not pleased with the chunkiness of the paint, but that's really like an old paint issue. And the places where it is applied, it's looking good. And I'm probably going to have to use a softer brush. But I don't really see any inherent adhesion issues here. This here has kind of like a calligraphic end to it, so you can get some other shapes in it. Could do like these long ribbony things. And what I painted underneath this gives it a burst of color. Feels like this paint is drying very quickly. So I have to work rather quickly too. So I'm definitely going to have to work in small sections. I think I know exactly what kind of paint I need to go. Definitely one of the more liquidy. Yeah, this is sort of like an ode to wheat and corn. And here I did a cat that had a hops theme. I'm just kind of trying to dig out the light here. Where I can. Here's this pretty dry. Sometimes it dries. Still get a little bit darker. Clean up the edges and set this aside to dry. Oh, I should probably sign it somewhere. Here's our test piece that I painted, and we did have some adhesion issues. The paint really broke apart in some areas. If you can see those fine lines that occurred just kind of throughout it. So this informs me that we're not going to be able to use that paint that I had originally gotten. So today I had to go to Michael's all the way down in Kingston, and I got some artist's grade spray paint, some actual acrylic spray paint in the same colors, which we will be using on the bear. And acrylic better work, because oil paint can generally go over acrylic, but acrylic can't go over oil paint, and apparently oil cannot go over all oil paints, even those claiming to be paint and primer. So this paint that was used here claims to be a primer as well as a paint, but it doesn't really react like a primer by allowing other paint to go on it. I am using Montana Gold Acrylic Professional Spray Paint. I was able to get these in true cayenne, yellow, and magenta. Something happened, but I'm not really getting anything out. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I saw yellow, but not much is getting on the board. Got some yellow down, so I'm going to spray some of this magenta. Alright. Wow, that is really cool. This has some good color blending. So I'm really liking some of those orange tones I'm getting right now. Ooh, I like that. Little short bursts. Putting all those flat. Well, I'm liking the color a whole lot more on this one than the other ones. It seems like these have a nicer blend to them. There we go. So this is the dried board as it came out. I really like how the colors came out on this. It has a little bit of a roughness here. Well, kind of a lot of roughness. Of course, that's where I was getting all experimental in the paint textures. Alright, I'm going to try to get in close to show paint textures. Yeah, there we go. You can see some of those larger blobs and the smaller flecks. So I really like the visual texture that came out here, the interplay of the color. It's a true cyan magenta, and yellow. So you're getting a lot of different color reactions in here. And now I'm going to paint it all black. So I did get a big thing of new paint. This one is very old Rumbacher oil paint. I think I got this from a store that doesn't even exist anymore. That's how old this is. Alright. So out comes all that paint. I'm going to use the same brush. It seems softer since it was recently used and washed and cleaned up. Just a little dab of this paint thinner. Just to try to apply this a little bit. For the paint having some body, but not being too terribly chunky. Might end up still using the new paint. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. Hoping, since I used some from this tube recently, that it will flow better. And now I'm going to cover up all this really pretty stuff. I really like how this one came out. And I'm just going to paint it all black. And I think I'm going to have to put out some of this new paint. Stuff is just too old. I'm going to put out some of my new paint to test. Ooh, it comes out quickly. Big chunk. Oh yeah, the consistency of this is so much different. Oh, so much better. So I'm just gonna try to paint this one a little more neatly on the edges, because I realize cleaning up the edges is not really that easy in retrospect. It looks kind of cool, the contrast. Oh yeah, this has a lot more spread to it. Over here already. Right. Do these edges. Alright, now because I know the brush isn't going to dry out immediately, I'm not going to wash it right now. I'm going to go right ahead, start carving into this area, see what colors I can reveal. I'm just going to wrap the brush up and keep it out of the way. Start with a nice rolly tool and just do some stuff. It's a little bit coarse because of the roughness and the texture, but it's manageable. just going to initial this one in here. I'm not going to bother with the signature. So they're really textured areas. Kind of didn't out too much. So when I do the bear, I'm going to be focusing more on heavy coverage. It's the areas that seem to have more heavy, even coverage, like here and here. And it works for the blends too, because there's a nice green coming through. So that's what I'm going to be going for as I paint the bear. Overall, the paint looks much smoother on this piece. It went on better, staying on better. It's about done here. Let's just throw in a couple more last minute details here. Alright, so that's about it for that. I'm going to let this dry, check it out. If it hasn't fallen apart by tomorrow, I'll be ready to undercoat the bear with the spray paint. There is my bear form.